Hello, hi, welcome. This is going to be it's going to be a weird episode, I feel like, because I've had a bad week mentally, which didn't really, I mean, being called a fucking bitch, but 8 a.m. Friday morning for doing my job. I mean, yeah, he probably thinks I'm a fucking bitch. Really, I don't care because I was just doing my job and clearly he has issues. But it's just been such a weird week and I had actually decided not to record today just because I didn't feel like it, and it's after 6 p.m. now, so yeah. And then I thought, well, I have to send off one of my FOs because I have an FO. It's a project you haven't seen and it's a project I love. And I want you to see it. And it has a really lovely story behind it, and it's just like, let's just do it. So this might just be a really short update to tell you, hey, I've made something really great. Or it might just be a really weird but regular show. Life. I did press record. So, I've been having issues setting up the camera and I'm afraid I'm going to run out of battery, and I should have picked up the charger. Leave this in. Let's see how it goes. If it cuts out, I'll bring in the charger, we'll continue on as if nothing's happened. I mean, my mom called last week. You're used to interruptions. I really hope you can hear the birds outside because the singing is really nice. It's been a really dreary day as well, so that doesn't help either. Let me just put it there. Remind me that I put it there if I forget. And let's go into my FO. As you might remember, if you're a long-time viewer, and if you are, I don't know how you do it, but I really appreciate it. I made a Weasley jumper for my friend Abigail a little while ago. I'm just going to sit him here so you can just look at him. And I surprised her with it. I've known Abby. I don't think I ever called her Abigail other than right now, even though that's her name. But I've known Abby for years. And I went to a wedding. Is it 2.5 years ago? Must be. So that means I haven't been to London for 2.5 years. Oh yeah, she lives in London. Otherwise, what would that information give you? Anyway, I knit her a Weasley jumper with her initial on it, based on the good old friend jumper menswear pattern by Vera Vilamaki, and she loves it. I didn't know how she'd take to it, but she loves it. It wasn't out of the blue in the sense that I knew she really wanted a Weasley jumper of her own. She just didn't know that I was going to make her one. And her wife Peggy, well, Pegs is really, she's so lovely, and even though they've been together all the time, we've known each other, but it's always been a friendship with me and Abby, but I knit the Even Star shawl for Pegs to wear for the wedding and surprised her with it, and Abby knew about it, and as soon as I heard they were getting married, I wanted to knit that because we bonded over our love of Lord of the Rings. Initially, we also both, that's Abby and me, I don't think Pax is interested in footballers, but we also bonded over our love of football and Formula One and blonde football players, silver-haired football players, and just blonde silver-haired people in general. And so yeah, I knit Even Star for Peggy and the Weasley jumper for Abby, and Abby's recently taken to, she's never been a knitter. She can crochet. I've seen her crochet, but she's never been a knitter, and I don't know what prompted it, but suddenly she started researching how to spin, how to clean a fleece, and so on. And she's actually jumped from being curious about it to actually having spun her first yarn on a spindle. A yarn that she got the fleece for and washed it and prepped it and everything herself, and it looks really good. And all of this is nothing. Anyway, so this is so the Abby and Peg special. Anyway, another thing we have in common is, all three of us, is our love of Moomins. And I saw that someone, is it Sai Norland? I think it might be. I think that might be her name. She's a designer, and she had a Moomin soft toy pattern in the latest Novita, which is, what I gather, a Finnish company. So initially it was only in Finnish. It did pretty quickly get translated into English, and it's a free pattern. I think you might have to sign up to get it, or you might even not have to do that, but it's a free pattern. And I mentioned to Abby that there was a pattern for a Moomin toy, plush toy, and she mentioned how she was like, oh, she wished she could knit that for Pax. And so I said, well, when it gets released in English, because at that time it was only in Finnish, and my Finnish is the same as every other Dane who can count to 3. So when the English version was released, I told her, and she was like, fantastic. And I said, well, I don't really have an interest in owning a Moomin. I already have one from Turku in Finland that my dad bought me when he was there for some sort of training course. And I think Turku is also where Moomin World is. But it wasn't open when he was there, so he could only get me the toy from the gift shop. Anyway, I told her, if you want, I'd be happy to knit pegs the Moomin, but I can't promise the outcome because it has bits that need to be sewn on and it has to have a face and so on. So it might be really odd looking. And yeah, here he is. I started him on Tuesday, and it's really interesting construction using short rows and picking up stitches. Well, you only pick up stitches in the neck, and I can untie his scarf, and you'd see that you pick up stitches underneath the head, but I don't really think you can actually see it. He looks so concerned, which is down to me and my embroidery. But basically you knit everything in one go. He is kitchened together down in his private area. Including the legs and feet are knit in one, and then you do the little tail, which of course is split, because we all know that the Moomins have tufts of hair on their tails, and you sew on the arms and the ears, and you embroider the face. Well, the face, the eyes, and for some reason he has thumbs. If I were to knit it again, I mean, he's permanently going thumbs up, but really worried about it. If I were to do it again, I wouldn't do thumbs. I'd just do, I mean, he doesn't have to pick up anything, he just has to look cute, so why does he need thumbs? And I stuffed him so he's fat and squishy around. And this is, I haven't registered the yarn I used to embroider his face, but that's just a black fingering weight sock yarn of some kind that I had lying around. That's actually attached to a long forgotten project that needs to be frogged, but was just sitting there. The main yarn, or only yarn, let's be honest, is Lamo. It's a Camarose yarn, and it took 66 grams, so he's not, I mean, he's fluffy, and I just adore his little fat bum and his little round stomach, and just that he's a fat chunky little guy. And I also made him a scarf because he's going on a journey. He's going to England, so he needs to keep warm, and the video is going to cut out in a minute. I just cast on a bunch of stitches in a, this is a navy duo yarn from the Faroe Islands, and just knit a bunch of stitches and he's being purposefully annoying right now. So just knit a bunch of rows, purled a row, well, reversed a row, and did an equal number of rows and picked up and knit the cast on together with my live stitches and bound off that way. So he has a little scarf and he's so happy about it, except for the travelling part. So I just love I love everything about him, and I really hope that Pax will love him too, even though she doesn't know she's getting him yet. So, but I have to send him off. And I didn't know if I felt like recording tomorrow, so that's why we're doing this here now. Okay. I'm going to switch the video off and the camera off, pick up the charger and come back and tell you about the other things I've done. So, say goodbye to Moomin. And we're back. So yeah, that's Moomin in all his wonky glory, and remember to tell me. And I started this, you know, after the thing, by saying that one of my efforts had to be sent off. Oh, I'm going to take this off to show you something. But this is the Lavina top. It's by Laura Shaw, and I'm wearing it today. I went to vote earlier for the European Parliament elections. Yeah. Felt like I needed something sunny for this really quite dull day. Yesterday the weather was glorious. I mean, so beautiful, which was excellent really, because this weekend it is Garnstafet, which is an event that the yarn stores here in town put on every year. Usually it's later in the year, but they moved it forward this year, and I went yesterday, and they have some different events. Some of the shops have offers that are only available in the shop. Some of them have offers that are available both in the shop and online, and I went down. So many people. And it's also today, but didn't feel like going. I only went to 3 shops. The first one, because I wanted to go there, I know the owner of the shop, and I follow her and the shop on Instagram, and a while ago she put up a design that she had started selling from the company Design Club, which is a Danish company, and it's one of those, and I don't know if that's unique to the Nordic countries or whatever, but a lot of the time, if you want a pattern in Denmark from one of the big companies, and that excludes something like Filcolana, who put out their free. Filcolana and Drops put out their patterns for free online, but other designers, they might put out single patterns, but you can't buy the pattern unless you also buy the yarn. So it's like an open kit, so you can you don't always have to buy the specific yarn from the pattern, but you have to buy yarn for the pattern. I think often you have to buy the specific yarn as well. And I'm not really a fan of that because I have a lot of yarn. I have a lot of excellent yarn that I want to knit with. And yeah. But Tina put up this. And this is how the pattern comes. Little folder. And inside, I'm going to try and see if I can somehow show you without showing the inside. They staple an actual photograph, like a printed photograph, a proper processed and printed photograph, like, you know, the olden days, of what the pattern looks like, or the finished object. And this was printed by Fujicolor Crystal Archive Paper Supreme. Oh, and actually they put on that it's the model called Solveig. Oh, not model, but the pattern called Solveig. So she put that up a while ago, and then she put up that for Garnstafet she would have 25% off the pattern yarn combo. And it's not a terribly expensive top when you think about it. It uses 200 grams of the Design Club Silly Merino, which is a light fingering. Well, it has 540 meters, so it's a light fingering. And so usually that would be, for the two skeins and the pattern, it would be $3.95. So I got it for $2.96. And I got this color, which is a silvery grey. I did consider going for like a color, something really popping, but then I thought, no, I really like this grey, and I think it would be a really elegant top in this grey, which would still be fun because of the pattern that runs on the bottom of the top, along the hem, and well, everything from the waist down really. It's really soft. I have worked with it before, and it's nice to work with as well. It is on 3mm needles, I'm sure, because that is how things work for a lot of time. Yeah, 3mm needles. I just noticed there's a typo in one of the headlines, which won't mean anything to those of you who don't speak Danish, but instead of Ermegabe, så står der Ernegabe. I should probably check for errata before I started, just to make sure. I haven't read the pattern, but it does include a last line that doesn't end, it just stops mid-sentence. Yeah. It's going to be great. I also went to Yarn Freak, but there weren't a ton of people when I was there. Earlier, when I was going down to Garnkisten, there were 1 million people outside and inside Yarn Freak. So I'm glad I went to Garnkisten first. I do apologise. Didn't buy anything in City Stuffer either, because the line went... They have a fairly wide shop and very deep, and while there were people everywhere, the line to the cashier went across the entire shop and swung around a bit. I talked to someone while sitting outside Yarn Freak, just getting a rest and getting something to drink, who mentioned that they had waited 45 minutes in line just to pay, and one of the reasons, well, not one of the reasons, the main reason for this is that there was only one cashier. There were plenty of people working, so I was looking at some fabric. Didn't really have an interest in any of the yarns. Moomin is from there, so but it's just, I wasn't looking for any yarn, and they had 25% off the fabrics as well, and I was looking at getting some jersey for my mum to make her some t-shirts. I didn't buy anything because I didn't want to wait in the line. I could have gotten it cut like this, because there were people, there were helpers all around, and the line barely moved because one cashier. And the people I talked to, one of them was like, well, keep asking her every year why she insists on only having one cashier, being herself, and her reasoning is that, oh, the others can't do it, or can't do the register or something. That's like, well, that doesn't make sense, because I think I've been helped and checked out by every single other one of her employees other than her down at the shop. So, but it's her shop, and it's her loss if people aren't willing to wait. Nothing anyone says will change her opinion. That was a sidetrack because, as I said, I'm going to show you my other FO, which I wore yesterday. And, well, before I start undressing, let me show it to you. And I wore it yesterday, so this is my first finish for Stash Dash. It's my second version of Castilled with 2 strands of cotton wool from Ganusa held together. No mohair, because why would you? It's a summer top. Why would you put mohair in it? And yeah, I'm really happy about it. My first version I never showed you on, but it was too big all around. It was probably right for what the pattern specifies, but I don't mind going off pattern. So, this is what it looks on now. I do have a different gauge, of course, because I'm holding the yarn double. So this is size small, and the original has a really high, tight neck. What I decided to do, and I've seen others mention doing, is instead of using the cast on number in the pattern, you go down to the first increase, pick up and cast on that number of stitches to do your ribbing. And yeah. And also, look, no back boobs. I decided to, which I had done in my first version as well, which is what showed me that this number of stitches for the front was the right one for me, was that because these are on the front and not on the back. So instead of having a 50-50 split, which is very normal for all of this, I did not 64, I didn't do any calculations. I saw that if I moved 10 stitches from the back to the front on the size small, I would get the number of stitches for the front that I wanted. So that's what I did. And it is a bit, it folds over in these sleeves. I don't mind that. If I do this all the time, it doesn't happen. What kind of human would do that? So yeah. Castilled by Filcolena, take 2, and yeah, I worked my way through the last of the body since last week. Just a bunch of stockinette. Finished it. I could have finished it before, but Stash Dash started Friday, and this by leaving one round and the bind off, one round of ribbing and the bind off, I succeeded in putting in 1530 meters for Stash Dash on the first day. Was I going to do Stash Dash? No. Did I prepare for Stash Dash? Well, other than this, no. I considering going Team Crazy Pants and aiming for 15k. I'm not admitting to it, but we sort of know me. placeholder. This and Moomin with his scarf puts me at 1700 meters, which between Friday and the last day I could possibly join, which is a couple of days before Stash Dash finishes, I need to knit 170 meters a day to end up with 15k. So we are on day 3 and I already have 10 days registered. So it's fairly good, I think. Something else that I'm hoping will add to my Stash Dash, well, my 2 test knits. Let's start with the one that needs to be finished first and is also the longest coming along, or the furthest along. This is my spring quartet. Will it help with the light if I turn on? Well, that one won't help. Put that one over there. A little bit. You can see the lace. On the back, this is spring quartet. It's the same as last time. But I am now doing and I stopped in the middle of the row because I was actually working on this when I thought, well, I really should do something about showing you Moomin. And initially I just thought I'd record a little section with Moomin and look at us now. Anyway, so spring quartet, I have a marker which is a dark marker, so well, I have 2 markers, but the one that means anything to you is the one down here, which is where I was last time. So I've knit a fair bit, and I am doing the waist decreases, and that also means I have added my second skein of Wollmeise twin in the amethyst medium, and the colour is, see, this is why even though it's light out and overcast but light-ish out, I shouldn't podcast at this hour of day without adding light somewhere. Sorry. I haven't remembered. I don't remember. It's not an intuitive lace pattern except for the chunks. So you can see here, I don't know how well you can see it. Do apologise for the lighting issues. The yarn I was travel up. So in that block of yarn I was travelling, it's intuitive. And then of course everything shifts. And where the yarn should be placed is intuitive. Which direction they should go in, not intuitive. You could work it out by looking at the other parts of the lace, but yeah. So I need to work another repeat from this marker and up, which is less than what I've already done, and also I don't have any lace on the front anymore because the design is so clever that the lace on the front, it starts out wide and then it just goes in, so it mirrors the V-neck of the cardigan in the lace. which I thought was pretty clever. So yeah, another 8 centimeters and then a rib and bind off and tiny little sleeves and the button band, which is actually knit in one, so a lot of the times you will have the button bands and then you'll do the collar and so on. Because of the V-neck shape of this, Anna Johanna, who has designed this, actually has you picking up all around. As this is a cropped cardigan, that makes sense, because otherwise you'd have like tiny little button bands and then a long collar, because the V-neck goes down a fair bit. So yeah, it is doable within the time limit. So far, other people have been ahead of me, so they've found the mistakes, and I've just been knitting. My other test knit, it has not been as successful. Not to say that the pattern, no problems with that. It's just that, I'm sorry about it leaning over, but I'm sitting on the stool that I usually put my things on. Anyway, right now this is just stockinette working down, and with this little lace pattern which will go on the right front. So it's just a boxy shape and it's just working my way down. So how much did I do this past week, I hear you ask? The deadline for this is a few days after the deadline for the other one, but I'm going to clear that deadline easily. Well, I knit from that lobster claw up here 11 rows. I know. It's just, yeah, I know. It's, now this lace part, which is only, as you could tell, not very wide, and which has some lace and a cable, which I'm of course doing without a cable needle, because why would you? I would screw up so much more if I had a cable needle. It's really easy to memorize, so that's not the problem. It's on 4mm needle, so it goes fast-ish. Fast-ish. I just haven't worked on it. Having said that, I did knit a nice big chunk on this one. I've knit a fair bit, which includes lace, on the other one, and I knit an entire moomin. So really, why am I complaining or apologising for only knitting 11 rounds on this? I mean, when was I supposed to knit it? But yeah. We can't always explain what our minds do to us. I think that's the easiest part of all of this, or the easiest way to explain all of this, any of this. And somehow we've ended up with a podcast. And I have no clue how long it is, because right now I can see that it's almost 50 minutes since I sat down and pressed record the first time, and we had a little interlude. So, sorry about not being upbeat, but as I said, brain issues, or I often refer to it as a broken brain. And don't worry about the thing about someone a member of the public calling me a fucking bitch. I don't care. The only thing that it made me think at the time was, I wish I could somehow punish you for this. So I get in a fight mode. Well, not while speaking to him. I did raise my voice, and one of the people across the hall from me looked at, we sit right across from each other. She looked at me when she heard me do my, what she called authoritative voice, telling him that I wasn't going to listen to him calling me names or using that kind of language, or I'd hang up. And then he called me a fucking bitch again. Sorry. He didn't call me a fucking bitch again. He called me a stupid fucking bitch. And this isn't some 18-year-old kid. This is a 50-odd-year-old man who I think is used to bullying people into doing what he wants. Sadly for him, I don't respond to bullies. So I just hung up the phone, told my boss if he complains, because he kept yelling about suing the tax agency and whatnot for money he thought we owed him, which is, no, you actually owe us money, but okay. So I just told her, you know what, if he's going to complain about me, he should just go ahead, because I did hang up on him, I did speak back to him, I didn't use foul language, but I did raise my voice at him, and she was like, let him complain. So, yeah. If you're going to call me a fucking bitch, we're just going to make our own fun of it. Because as a colleague told me, well, she told me that, well, he doesn't know you have a dolphin back. Which I haven't told you about, but I'll do that next time, because I don't want to get up and go get it. I'm trying to round off here. Anyway, we laughed at it because she was like, well, next time you call someone or someone calls you, I just mentioned that I didn't call him, he called me. You should answer the phone saying, hello, it's the fucking bitch. So, we have humour. That's how we fight bullies. Anyway, last thing, next week, this coming week, there's a bank holiday, or public holiday on Thursday. Working for the government means that we are closed Friday, so that's the 4th day off, but we do have to pay for it ourselves. And then on Monday I'm going to Copenhagen to see No Such Thing as a Fish live. And they're going to do a podcast as well. And because there's rail works, the train I had thought I could get back from Copenhagen after the podcast, and with a good fair 20-30 minutes at least to spare, probably more, to walk the, 10 minutes. Instead of that, because of the roadworks, railworks, that train doesn't exist at the moment, so I can't get back Monday, so I have to take Tuesday off. And then I figured, well, but I'm not going to sleep on the street, don't worry, Camilla's taking care of that. And I'm going to go meet Charlotte, who I know is not currently watching the podcast or up to date on the podcast, so doesn't really, well, hello Charlotte of the future. Looking forward to seeing you on next Tuesday, because we have a coffee and knitting date. So I figured, well, I was going to go home to visit my parents for the bank holiday. And going back here either Saturday or Sunday, work Monday and go straight from work to Copenhagen, because work is sort of on the way to Copenhagen. I didn't save a whole lot of travel time, but mentally it's on the way. So I was like, well, it doesn't make sense to go halfway across the country, go back, to go all the way across the country the following day or the day after. So I'm going to stay with my dad until Monday and then go to Copenhagen straight from him, and then go home from Copenhagen on Tuesday. Go to work Wednesday and so on. Which means I won't be able to podcast on Sunday. Yeah. So I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. And I should get some dinner. Anyway, I hope you have a great week, or 2 weeks until I see you again. Bye.